What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? So we back again for another episode review of Life After Lockup. This season 6, episode 12. Baby, I apologize. Now listen, I need y'all to get on board, okay? So this is what's going on. Y'all gonna get the reviews either on Friday night or Saturday evening, okay? I'ma just say Saturday. Friday night or Saturday, whatever day. Because sometimes I work on Saturdays and sometimes I don't. So whenever I'm off, you'll get it early if I have to do it on a Saturday. And if I'm not off, you'll get it around this time. Here's my thing though. The only reason why y'all didn't get it last night was because I was up looking at the Hunting Wives. Listen, it was a reason. I did not expect to go ahead and finish that whole season. Mind you, I was only like 3 episodes in already when I had started it last night. And I just wasn't expecting to If y'all have not seen The Hunting Wives on Netflix, it's 8 episodes. And I'm telling you, once you get started, you ain't going to want to stop. You're going to want to watch that whole thing right then and there. So watch it if you have not already watched it and you want to. Watch it on the day that you ain't got nothing else to do, because it's going to have you sitting there for all 8 episodes like it did me last night. But anyway, that's just what was going on. Let's just get up into this episode of Life After Lockup. Because, girl, what? All right, Justine and Miguel. Justina. Listen. Y'all got a good thing going. Regardless of how y'all came together, regardless of the situation, and regardless of the fact that y'all got 50 million kids, regardless of all of that, y'all got a good thing together. You know what I'm saying? It's love there. Michael, out of all of the husbands and the people that have gotten out of jail on this show, he has really changed his wayward ways, okay? That man is totally not the man that we was introduced to when he was first on the show. You know what I'm saying? We was introduced to a street mug, a street nigga, a drug dealer, all of that. What we have now is a family businessman. I said, oh. Now, Michael, I'm going to tell you this. You're going to have to start talking to your wife about things that's going on in that household, because, again, it ain't just about you. Okay? All of these different businesses, it's okay. It's okay that you're trying to find a hustle and you're trying to, offset one situation to another situation. It's good, because in this economy and the fact that y'all got 15,000 people living up in that household, yeah, you're going to need to have multiple streams of income, especially since Justine don't work. Justine, I'm telling you, girlfriend, you could be online doing something, okay? You could be online doing something to help bringing in a little cash. But, that's neither here nor there. Obviously, they doing enough. That's okay, for the simple fact that they got $100,000 to spare. And all these other money to spare for these businesses. Now, on one hand, I love it when they do stuff together. You want to know what's throwing off with me and what's throwing y'all off, Justine and Michael, and the reason why y'all ain't on the same page right about now? Y'all stop dressing alike. I figured that out just now. Y'all stop dressing alike. That's literally what it was. Y'all went to the gym to do boxing, and y'all, I want to get into boxing so bad. I really do. But I got to find somewhere. I have to get over it could be irrational, but it's probably not. I have to get over my anxiety and fear of going to an actual gym with a whole bunch of people in there. Okay? Like, granted, 9 out of 10, they ain't paying no attention to me, but people do silly stuff, and next thing you know, you're on the internet and getting made fun of. I don't know. I just be having that type of irrational fear. But I've always wanted to get into boxing. I wanted to get into a different form of cardio. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. Justine and Michael went to boxing. They weren't dressed alike. They went to that business meeting, and they weren't dressed alike. And as soon as I saw that she was in all denim and he was in pleather/leather, I just knew it wasn't going to go right. Y'all couldn't even have the same material on, okay? Even if it wasn't going to be the same colors, the same style, y'all couldn't even have the same material on. And see, y'all not clicking on that part. It's not clocking to y'all. That's why y'all going through what y'all going through. Get your outfits back together, okay? Get your outfits back together. I'm telling you, I'm trying to be nice, you know what I'm saying? But, Michael, Justine said, maybe we need to get Melody up in here and let her get into the little boxing situation too, because she can't be putting her hands on people, whatever. We ain't trying to get her in no trouble or nothing like that, because we don't want nothing to happen to her. She 18 years old or about to be 18 years old. And, they're about to classify her as an adult if she go ahead to do something and hurt somebody for real, for real. And then when I got to the background of the reason why the girl got into the fight, Michael said, what? Justine is sitting there talking about this. And she being dead ass because she real concerned. Michael said, well, you know what? I think she did good. I said, Michael. No, that ain't the response. But honestly, that's what I would have said too. I'm not even going to hold you. Because when he said, well, basically what happened was she found out there was some girls or somebody that was up there talking mess about her brothers. And she just don't play that. And you know what? We want to tell the kids no violence and keep their hands to themselves. And if you can't talk it out and with your words, just walk away. Sometimes that don't work. And you just got to put fist to face. I'm sorry. And especially if you're talking about my siblings, especially, I hope it wasn't the one that had autism either. Now, if you definitely was talking about him, oh yeah, we rocking. Okay? Me and my fist and you, we rocking. So I wasn't mad at little Melody. She looking out for her brothers, But I get where Justine is coming from as a mother, stepmama, a mother, don't want their babies to be, in the system or have anything that's hindering them in life or whatever. Because all it takes is you to hit a person the wrong way and they be either paralyzed, comatose, or dead. So I get it. Then we get up into this whole situation about this business meeting that they go meet up with old boy with the barbershop, Jay and his wife Missy. I'm sorry, I need to look them up. Somebody put their information down in the comments because I got to see if they really legit. Because every time we only synced them twice. We saw them last week and this week, and it just gives scammer. In the day and age of social media, and it gives get rich quick. That's what it gives. It gives scheming. It gives scamming. Every time I see it, I'm like, why do you got that jacket on that what type of vest is that? Because I seen it on somebody else. And I'm just like, you look stupid. I'm just going to tell you. It would be fine if it wasn't the straps that was hanging up because they don't go down. The bubble vest. Like, take that off, okay? And then y'all let me tell you something. Usually I'm not here for, us bringing our personal stuff into a professional setting. Like, we're doing business, okay? Leave that personal mess to the side. We talk about that in the car. You know what I'm saying? But see, the way that, Miguel up here just sneaking stuff up on Justine, knowing how she is. First of all, it ain't even knowing how she is. It's a respect thing. I'm talking to you about a wedding, and then you not even telling me about this barbershop situation that you want to do, but when you finally do tell me about it, you don't tell me all of the information like cost. Okay, so Justine finds out that it's supposed to be like $100,000, and she said, wait a minute, now where the hell are we supposed to get this $100,000 when we got a $60,000 wedding coming up? Now on the one hand, I get where Michael is coming from. Trust and believe, because I think it's goddamn ridiculous to spend all that money on a wedding on one freaking night, and you can't do nothing with it. It's not gonna make money for you. So in that mind, because I'm very much business oriented like Michael. I'm please don't try to get married to me like that and say we want a big wedding. No, we'll go down to City Hall. I'm sorry, or get somebody to officiate it in the crib or in the backyard, because listen, I don't understand spending all that money for what? But what? And then I want to know how the people that spend all that money on the weddings and stuff, how y'all feel when y'all get divorced. I'm talking about the ones that got divorced. Like, damn, I can't get that back. Michael was basically like, let's just wait until the barbershop opens up, and we invest the $60,000 into the barbershop. It makes profit, and it gives us a return on the revenue. Return on profit and all that stuff. Return on investment, that's what it is. And then it probably will double, and then probably will triple, and all of that stuff. You letting your money make money for you. That's why he wants to continue to open up businesses to get money inflow, income to be flowing in. Justine don't see it that way, because Justine is just thinking about what she wants, and what she wants is this wedding. And I just don't understand why you just can't wait. Okay. I don't even understand why you need to have this big thing, but I get it. That's what your dream was. But at the same time, this is what she wants. I get that. This is what y'all been talking about. I get that. So yeah, she felt like this was a little bit sprung up on her, this price situation. Well, you bitching about putting $60,000 in a wedding, but you're okay with putting $100,000 on a business. And this is the thing. You're putting you might think like, because I'm thinking it too, $60,000, that's a goddamn waste of time. That's a waste of money. Putting it in a business and making that business make money for you, make that money make money for you, I'm into it. But at the same time, that's how long it's going to take. Because the way that they're talking is as if as soon as we open up this business, it's going to pop off real good. It's going to be booming like that. And that's just not how, and it's going to give me a return on investment real quick. And that's just not how businesses work. It takes time. So with them sitting there talking about something where you can compromise by, making the money make money, and then we can push the wedding back and all that stuff. But who's to say once the business opens, if they get the business, if Jay and them don't run out with the money, okay, if they don't find a building or whatever, and let's say if they do get it open, who's to say that it's going to be successful and you're going to get in the black instead of the red? You don't know that, okay? And we're not hearing those sides of the conversation. But at the same time, Michael, even though I get what you're doing because you're very business oriented in the sense that you realize that, baby, who the hell is this? I have a family and a whole bunch of kids, and I got to take care of them. I got to provide for them, right? The thing of it is, you also are not just yourself. You have to talk to your wife about these things, okay? Even if it seems like she don't want to compromise, you still have to talk to your wife about these things before it being sprung upon her, all right? Justine, you have to work on listening and compromisation as well. Is that a word? If not, I just made it one. You got to listen, okay? And you have to be rational, okay, and reasonable. He didn't say he didn't want to have a wedding. He said he didn't want to have a wedding that right then and there, okay, because he thinks other things are more pertinent and more important. And honestly, he is correct. He is correct. But it's all about communication. I see why she would be upset in that meeting, and I see why he wanted the meeting and all that stuff. But y'all got to communicate, okay? Y'all going outside arguing, and Michael, let me tell you something. I don't know if it was said up in the episode or if it's going to be said next week, where she was calling him a mama's boy. Mama's boy. You are a mama's boy. Let's not do that. You are a mama's boy, okay? But, yeah, they going to be all right. They going to be all right. Anyway, moving on from there. Bianca and Daniel. Daniel was over it. He's over it. Bianca, I'm going to just tell you this. Well, y'all not together no more, so I hope you figured it out. You do too much. Well, no, you're a whiner, okay? You never should have been in this relationship with this grown man because technically you still have the mentality of a teenager, okay? I know you're 24 years old. You think you're an adult. You don't need to be with somebody like him because even though he don't seem like he's fully matured, he's a little bit more mature than you, okay? And then it's the way that they act when more charges or more issues come up with court dates and stuff like that concerning the reason why they were already in jail or whatever. It's like, what did you expect when you get with somebody that was already in prison with a whole bunch of charges on them that were bad? Did you expect them not to have to continue this if they, come on. So we found out that then you got another court case going on for robbery, shoplifting from Walmart of all places. How you get caught shoplifting at Walmart? I gotta teach you something. Let me tell you this. Let me take that back because I don't want people to think that I got sticky fingers. Back in my day, back in the day when I was younger, I lifted a couple of CDs. Okay, we popped them bitches open. We just took the actual discs out of there. Okay, that's just literally what it was. It was only a couple of times or so, a handful of times, and when a handful, that means like 5 times. Okay, but that was to the extent of my thievery. All right, did I ever get caught? Absolutely not. Did I know when to stop? Absolutely. I wasn't crazy. You know, I had a moment. But I was a child. You're an adult. And see, I'm bringing this up because when they showed that receipt that was over $600 of merchandise that he stole, the crux of it, two big items, I don't know what that was. It was like 90 something dollars and one was like $72 or something like that. But baby, at the very top, you stealing liquor? You stealing liquor? And he was like, yeah, this was when I was on them drugs and stuff. I said, well, that makes sense. Because why are you being dumb? Let me ask you, did you have it underneath your shirt and it was just so bulgy in your pants and in your shirt and all that stuff and you're walking like this? What? Like, how did you walk out of there? Baby, speaking of stealing, if you have TikTok, and I'm pretty sure it's probably on YouTube, please look up either on YouTube or TikTok if you got it. The Indian lady, and I mean India from the country of India, okay? Indian lady who was at Target. She was in Target for like 7 hours. And then she tried to shoplift. Okay? She tried to just walk up out of there with a cart full of stuff. And so I guess security and they had been watching her. And then they had called the cops. And they got her on tape. Okay? Like, there was no, I didn't do it, it wasn't me type of situation. This is racial profiling type of stuff. She couldn't use none of those excuses because it was her, you know? And she was like, what did I do? I'm not from here. It was her, like, I don't know how long that interrogation was. And you know it's bad when you got me standing with the cops and feeling bad for the cop. Because I was like, bitch, I would have put them cuffs on her and be like, shut the fuck up and get in this goddamn car. Mind you, I ain't even for all that, okay? But the way that she was just, what did I do? I got to call my daughter. Ma'am, I don't have my ID. I was like, oh my God. What did I do? I can go pay for it. I got it now. I can go pay for it. No, you can't pay for it. But I can go pay for it. I have it. See, look, I have it. I gotta go pay for it. Well, bitch, why you ain't pay for it when you was supposed to? Okay, why you said 7 hours? That's a whole work shift. That's a whole work shift if you take a freaking lunch break too. Okay? Like what? 7 hours shoplifting in the goddamn Target. That shit was funny as fuck because she was dead serious. I said, you know what? I probably want her on my team because she ain't going to give it up. Okay, mama said, I ain't finna snitch on myself. I don't give a fuck if you see me on camera or not. I ain't finna do that. Mama said, all right. But Daniel, let that lady go. Well, I'm pretty sure you already did. But Bianca, I mean, when he, I get her frustration because she was like, how you didn't know that you was supposed to go? Because he got to go to court the next day, literally. And it's a 4-hour drive going, and I think it was like 3.5 hours or 4 hours going and back. So it was like 7 hours altogether almost or something like that. And he has to be there. And if he don't show up, he's going to get a warrant put out for his arrest. And he said he just so happened to look into his own email and saw that this email was there. And had he looked a day later or whatever, they would have had put that warrant out. Now, Bianca is upset because she's like, you're being irresponsible. On the one hand, sure, he is. But on the other hand, what if the email went to the spam folder? Because trust to believe, there has been some things that I needed. And I'll be sending people that be like, well, I'm supposed to be getting a response to this or whatever. And I never got the response. And then something told me to go in my spam folder. And I usually don't look in my spam or my junk folder. I pay that shit dust. And then I go look in it that one time and there go what I'm looking for. So I got to make sure that shit comes to my actual inbox, So it could have been one of those situations. But then he said, I got to go to work. He went to work. He came home the next morning, baby. When I tell you that man took his stuff, went outside and drove off. I said, you ain't going to say goodbye to the girl? Absolutely not. He is tired of her. Okay. Bianca up there at the, with the cat place with the neighbor that she used to be neighbors with in that old apartment building that's older than her. And I'm like, I don't understand how you have all these older people around you that's not giving you sound advice. Okay, like I just don't understand, and not calling you out on your own mess too. Like you're not mature enough to be in this relationship. You're not mature enough to be in a relationship at all at this point. And that man, yeah, red flags are he don't want you because he's like over the thrill of whatever it was that attracted him to you. It's gone because of you, because of him, and all of that stuff. Like your child, and he is a man child too. He ain't ready to be in no goddamn relationship, and he know that. He know that. So it's like, were you just using her for room and boarding because she got a little change on her too? That's how I feel about this whole situation. They was using each other. And they ain't got nothing out of it. Truth be told. Moving on from that, but baby, you walk up out the house and you be gone for hours and I'm texting you trying to make sure you okay. Why I know you driving on the road for 3 hours and you don't respond, but you can sit up in there, you can talk to the camera, you can do your little breathalyzer so your mouth and your hands ain't broken. They ain't occupied, even though you're supposed to keep 2 hands on the wheel while you driving. No texting while driving or whatever. Is that what you're trying to do? Oh, yeah, baby, it would have been over. It would have been over, okay? You would have came home, and, yeah, you could stay up in that room and say no girls allowed. I would never come up in there until this lease is over with. You'll get your ass up out of here, okay? That's just what it is. Moving on from that, who else is in this episode? Leticia and Keith. I ain't gonna hold you. That was cute. That was cute. Now, bitch, it wouldn't have been me. I'm finna tell you what I'm talking. They was up in that limo. She gave him some. That's fine. That's fine. I would have liked to see it too. Him and them girls. I was like, take the shit out your mouth because you can't really talk. But you know, you kind of. I know he told up. He told up. He looked like it, okay? And Lakeisha said that he did. You know, I was like, all right, how long was it? Because y'all was still up in the limo. You mean to tell me when that limo driver got up out the limo, that's what he was doing? Y'all was up in there fucking, so he got out the limo just so y'all can have y'all little privacy. There was no divider up in there, no partition. Driver, pull out the partition, please. Y'all don't want to see Lakeisha on her knees. Bitch, you ain't had no partition up in there. That man was standing across the street on the phone doing what? He said, girl, I don't give a fuck. They paying me. I said, all right, you know what? Get your money's worth. Do what you got to do, okay? Whatever you need me to do, I'll do. So, yeah. I was thinking, and this is what Lakeisha wanted to take him back to Iowa on the limo, or in the limo. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to follow the rules and go ahead and get on the bus. I said, they really have to just drive the bus? He can't just... Because I'm thinking like, damn, give him a plane ticket. Because wow, he finna spend 10 plus hours on the goddamn bus. That probably ain't got no working toilet. It stank. It's my... Girl, wouldn't have been me. Like when Lakeisha got... And she left with him. I said, you know what? That's good. Because I would have said, I will meet you there. When she said, this shit ain't made for tall people at all. Absolutely not. And not for no 10-hour drive. No. I took the bus when we went on our cruise. And it was a bus that came to pick us up from where we docked to take us to the airport, right? When we get on the bus, bitch, I was like, oh no. We had to get all the way in the back. And I said, let me sit in the middle because my knees was on the back of the chair. Okay, bitch. It's one thing to be big and it's one thing to be tall and it's one thing to be big and tall. Okay? I said, bitch, you got to be one or the other to sit up in these chairs. Bitch, I'm both. Okay? And it wasn't the fact that I couldn't fit in the chair. It was just my knees was on the back seat. Imagine we went in the stand for a long time. It's just that imagine your knees being on the back seat just crunched up for 10 hours. Absolutely not. Okay? But they got there, and it was real nice to have his people out there, to have the kids out there. I ain't gonna hold you. I kind of teared up a little bit because it was nice. Like, bitch, I don't know. Maybe that time of the month coming up, but I've been a little sensitive. I've been a little emotional. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, oh, God, this is beautiful. Even the 16-year-old daughter who ain't really want to be out there, which she probably did. She just don't want to express herself, but that's just how she is. She gave him a little hug, gave him a little letter, whatever. The little girl, you know, she basically wouldn't even let him go. But you want to know the part that really got me? The part that really got me When his daddy came up there, hugged him, he started. I said, come on, black man. Let them tears flow. Let them tears. Ooh, Keith daddy cute. Keith daddy is fine for his. I said, nigga, how old are you? Keith is around what? 30-something? 30-something? And you gotta be at least 40. Well, I ain't gonna say that. You gotta be at least 50-something. He a good, nice looking 50-something. I said, all right. Now, Keith, you gonna look just like your daddy. Take them goals out your mouth and get a new set. They look a little dirty, a little dingy. That's what it is. Not dirty, but dingy. But yeah. I'm like, all right, stepmama, you done came up. You done came up on some fine shit. All right. And he was like, I said, just let it go. He was like, my boy been gone for like 11 years. Listen, I said, I know that's right. You better cry. Girl, it was nice. It was nice. Baby, I would have been on there boo fucking hooing. Okay, in the corner just crying. Then had to take him to the halfway house. Now, Leticia, let me tell you something. You can't be doing this every time your man got to be around somebody else, okay? First of all, I didn't even know that there were co-ed halfway houses. I did not know that. But you up here talking about something. I trust my men. It's the other bitches that I don't trust. So then you don't trust your man. Because them bitches, so you say, don't owe you nothing. They don't know you, okay? But it's about your man. So them women, they can come up there and say, hey, daddy, what's good? It's up to him if he can say and walk away. They don't owe you shit. He do. But that's neither here nor there. Moving on from that, who else was in this episode? Brooke and JK. Baby, what? This relationship is not going to last because this man has only been out of jail for, what, a month? And they have gotten into it how many times? And within those multiple times that they have gotten into it within this month, how many times has he then called her a bitch out of anger? Absolutely the fuck not. Okay? Absolutely the fuck not. You know, sometimes it just grinds my gears when I hear people like, that's my bitch, that's my bitch, that's my bitch. That's your woman. That's your woman. I don't even like it when we say that's my nigga, that's my nigga. No, that's your man, okay? And I know sometimes we slip up and we say some shit, but when you be intentional, for real, like that man be calling her a bitch every time he get mad. Stupid ass bitch, get the fuck out. What? I do some shit like that to my girl, that means I'm done with you. I don't want you back, okay? Listen, if I'm calling you out your name like that because I'm mad, no, I can't. That's very disrespectful. I can't do that to somebody that I still want to lay up with because I still love him. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely not. That's just really because he be saying, he put so much emphasis on it too. He because like he be around niggas. Okay, I be like, damn, JK, what the fuck is going on with this guy? Now JK was out there, you know, looking at a truck. He ain't got no money for. And I'm sitting here like, what are we looking at the truck for? You ain't got no money for. You ain't even got no down payment, baby. You ain't got a job. You know, you need a friend like JK friend that's just gonna, you know, entertain your foolishness. And that's exactly what he did. He knew that man wasn't finna get no goddamn car. He said, let me go over here and let me play around and let me just, you know, help him out or whatever. He ain't finna get it, but, you know, I'm gonna just let him do what he gotta do, okay? But his daddy showed up, and when I tell you, I said, what? I said, wait a minute, the daddies on this season looking like the sons for real. You know, sometimes you get them that look like the sons look like the mama, or some of the kids look like the mama, but these daddies, I was like, twin? Where have you been? Baby, James, JK daddy, he look older and young at the same time. Depending on which angle you look at, he look old and young at the same time, and then you realize he's an older gentleman by looking at his neck, and you can tell he been through some things. I said somebody done yoked your ass up in that neck, huh? Okay, and you can tell that he probably was a big individual, because when he started walking, I said, oh, look at them titties. Them titties are the type of titties when you lose weight. Baby, I look at my 600-pound life, okay? See what I just say? When men lose weight or whatever, especially when they be all that big and they be having them little boobies right there, yeah, them some titties that he had. He used to use the big ones. That's why his neck looked like that. I said, all right, you got yourself together, huh? We all on the journey, okay? There it is. Listen, he said, I need to be around. I said, I know that's right. Now, that moment between him and his son, I said, you know what? One thing about it, the men are I love it when a man can just express their feelings. You know what I'm saying? You got Keith Daddy just crying his eyes out. And now you got JK up here just telling him, listen, me and my daddy ain't had the best relationship because he wasn't always there. You know, because he picked the work path and career that, you know, never really had him in the house. And so, you know, when I was up in jail, Daddy, I just want to let you know, like, you know, I'm my mama, she always been my rock. She always been my rock. And so when I was up in prison, it's like, you know, you was always there for me when I'm out and I'm doing good. But when I'm in jail and everything, you weren't there for me the way that I needed you. Like, I need you on the outside, but I also needed you on the inside too. And it's like when I wrote that letter with all my heart and telling you all my feelings and putting all my emotions in it and everything. And then when you got the letter and then you wrote back, it was all about, you know, the cause and this and that. And it wasn't even about your emotions and stuff and about how you felt really, really, really what's going on. And I was just like, damn, that's really kind of fucked up, you know, because, you know, I'm trying not to cry, but, you know, Daddy, I really need you. He was like, I know, son, like, you know, I didn't do right. I didn't do right. I wasn't around all the time, but I just want you to know that, you know, I'm proud of you, but, you know, I'm still here for you. I'm gonna always be here for you now. And that time, like, JK was about to cry. He was crying. And I was like, Daddy, hug him. I said, you ain't finna go this whole scene without hugging him. Daddy eventually went on ahead and hugged this boy. I said, oh my God, Daddy is. I'm a sucker for it. You do all of that just to call that girl a bitch after. Man, that was so nice. I was just sitting here like, not y'all like making me get up in my feelings and everything. I said, that's what a father's love feel like. I wouldn't know. Wow. He was like, I love you. I love you too, and I'm gonna love you forever. You're gonna always be here forever. We're gonna have to do what we gotta do so we can be here. I said, you know what? Yes. Now we're gonna stick to that, or are we just talking because the cameras are right here? That's different. But I really like that. Mind you, JK had got a text from Bonnie. That's her name. And said, get here now! Exclamation point! I said, girl, you couldn't even wait to get off shift, bitch. He came there to her shift and said, he was like, so what's good? She said, so I spoke to Brooke. She came up here today. He said, what? Brooke's supposed to be at work. And then, here go Bonnie. Apparently not. I said, bitch. Apparently not. Okay, mind you, Brooke is over there at Kathy's house. JK mama. She cooking meatloaf. Okay? The way that she cooked that meatloaf, I don't want it. Okay? The mashed potatoes didn't look like they was mashed all the way. But, you know, you tried. You came there, you tried to make your keep. Now, here's my thing. You're a mother. Why are you spending so much time with this man over there at his house and all that shit and not with your kids? Why is your mama constantly watching your kids this whole time and then you want to throw a fit when JK couldn't see your kids? Mind you ain't even seeing your kids. I'm spending a couple of days over here with Kathy and JK and my mom are watching the kids. What? Priorities. You're over there playing around and faking like you're going to work and instead of going to a library or whatever and using a public computer to try to do some fucking job applications or some shit like that. Like, what is going on, Brooke? What are your priorities? Okay? That man was upset when he came home into the house. Right? He came home into the house. And they was fixing the food. And she had put a paper plate. Now, let me tell you something. Paper plate game right here. Baby, y'all can talk all y'all want. I got regular plates too. But why would I need to do that when it's just me? The regular plates and shit come out when, you know, company come over or whatever. And 9 out of 10, they don't give a fuck. They just get what they want. Throw that shit in the garbage can. I ain't gotta watch that. What the fuck? I don't know why people look down on people that use mostly paper plates. Like, what the fuck? What's the issue? Anyway, JK, he came in with some food. He moved that paper plate. He said, I ain't eat that. She said, you ain't eat my food? No, I already got food. So you really ain't gonna sit here and eat my food? No. You know what? Let's go outside and let's talk right quick. So I went over there and I talked to Bonnie. Oh, so you ain't got no job? You ain't got no job? This whole time you been lying to me? You been lying to me? And Kathy was like, you know, you shouldn't lie. That's a terrible thing to do. Kathy don't like her. He was like, so you just like Alex. You just like Alex. What's the difference between you and Alex? And that's what really pissed her off. And I said, now, man, I know you are upset. I know you are upset. But why is it when people get upset, they throw the one person in there that another person can't stand that they are upset with? And that just makes the situation work. Like, don't compare me to another bitch. Okay? Especially one that you know I can't stand that was trying to get at you, that you already had feelings for. What you trying to do, make me jealous? Because shit like that, I'll fucking let you go. Because if that's what we on, be on it by yourself. You know, I don't put up with the shit. Mind you, he said, JK ain't got a job his damn self. We ain't seen him go on nary other interview. But he got the nerve to get up in his feelings about her not having a job. Now, at first I said, no, nigga, you ain't got one either. And she said the same thing. He said, but bitch, I just got out of jail. And I said, you know what? It has been a month. I'm going to let it slide for a second. And I mean for a quick second. Woo, it's gone. Okay? The slid has slumped. You know? And I was like, you know, go ahead and make your point, JK. What you trying to do? He said, but this is what got me. And I said, oh, I ain't got no job. But, bitch, I'm pretty sure I will keep it longer than yours. That's what he wanted to say. Longer than you ever would. He said in the past 3 years or the past year, you done had like 8 jobs. You only been at a job no more than 3 months before you get fired or you get let go. You can't keep a job to save your life. I said, bitch, what? And I said, well, I would probably be upset too. You know what? Because I'm out here trying and you up here just, you know. And I said, well, JK, are you really trying though? And this is me thinking, are you really trying? Because every time ain't nobody got a job. But you know what everybody got money for? Vaping. Everybody is vaping. I was like, Courtney vaping. JK vaping. Brooke vaping. It's probably somebody else vaping. I'm like, God damn. Y'all lungs is fucked up. Y'all got metal and shit up in your lungs and everything and don't even fucking know it. Mm-mm. You might as well just go ahead and smoke a fucking cigarette, bitch, and die that way. I ain't even feel like that, but you know, reality is reality. I was just like, oh my God, what is going on? He went in on that bitch. She was like, when she was in, and the way that they be arguing in front of the adults, and she told him to eat her dick in front of her mom, his mama and his stepdaddy and Marla. I said, what the fuck? I would never, bitch. Hell no. And so he said, get the fuck up out of my house, bitch. I said, first of all, it ain't your house. It's your mother's house, but all right. I said, what? This is so toxic. And this is all in a month. This is only a month. Ugh. Meanwhile, who else we got? Courtney and Will. I like Will. Will's stupid, but he ain't stupid. Okay? Because Will said, I will play the fool once for now. And don't tell if I'm going to do it again next week. But for this 2 weeks, I'm not finna play the fool right now. I'm finna give it a break. Courtney was supposed to be getting out of prison or out of jail. She was in there for 2 weeks. She was expecting him to come all the way down there to Portland to pick her ass up. And he was about to do it. Now, he had called his friend to let him know that he was about to go. Oh, boy said, are you really finna do this? You finna spend some more money on this bitch? You know what? Fuck it. It's your life. You do what you got. I mean, you had to hit a friend. If you didn't watch the episode, you had to hit a friend. Think about the most disappointed you have ever been in somebody or somebody has ever been in you and the way that they sound when they just voice that disappointment. That was the friend talking to Will on that phone. Did he get a phone call basically saying that Courtney had violated her probation? So therefore, you know, that interstate compacts or whatever to get them to, you know, spend her to change her where she going to do her probation in a different state, out the window. So he basically like did all that shit for fucking nothing, for you to fuck it up because you wanted to do a little bit of GHB. Okay? I said, well, he said, you know what? At this point, I don't even know if I should go out there and pick her up. Because my heart is saying do it and my brain said no. His brain won. And I said, sometimes you got to listen to your brain over your heart. Okay? Your heart will lead you into some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a little bit more logical. All right? So she gets out and she looking for him. It's some other dude out there like, hey, Courtney. And it was like, okay, hey, Mark, where the fuck is Will at? I'm looking for Will. I don't know. I don't see him, but it's just me right here. Oh, okay. And I'm looking at Mark and I'm like, who the fuck is this? I said, how dare you? Now, Will, I hope once you see this that you have put an annulment in for this shit and you left this bitch alone. Because ain't no way in hell I'm finna be sharing you. I don't give a fuck if it's a sugar daddy, sugar mama type of situation. I don't give a fuck if you're not giving it up or whatever in this person. Because at the end of the day, even if you're not giving it up, that person that you are with and playing eventually gonna want you to. Okay? They putting money in their investment. All right? They're paying you to get to the point where you would finally just give it up to them. And then eventually they're going to get pissed off and get tired. Now, see, Courtney, you better be glad them goddamn cameras are out there. Because I don't know if you had said that you had met Mark before or already. Because I know the producers had asked you. And I know the producers, that's a black lady. She was like, so, Courtney, have you had any sex with this man? Courtney said, ain't no way in fucking hell I've ever had any type of relationship with that man like that. And ain't no way in hell I would ever have any type of relationship with that man in that way. That motherfucker just give me motherfucking money. Okay? And that's just it. Now, I said, you know what, Courtney? I want to believe you. But then again, the way Mark was acting, I do. Okay. He was a little bit too eager because he trying to get it. And Courtney, you made me so nervous, and I was glad that the cameras were there because I'm not trying to judge a book by its cover or whatever, or judge a person either way. But in this day and age, you can't be too naive, and you gotta be a little bit safer. Okay, you get into a car with somebody that clearly wants something more with you. All right. And just because he looked like he probably harmless, that don't mean shit. A lot of these serial killers that was out here and our murderers that was out here, they look very harmless, okay? Some of them got life sentences from the judges and from the jury because they was like, oh my God, I just didn't think that somebody that looked like that would do something like that. Case in point, Ted Bundy. It's a new whole documentary on Hulu about that motherfucker. I would never forgive y'all and the people who literally was online and on Twitter and shit talking about how fine that man was. What? He's a serial killer. And y'all up here talking about how fine he was in 2020. What? What the fuck? But yeah, he creeped me out. He made me uncomfortable. He was a little too touchy-feely, and she was letting it happen because he's paying money for it. And then you got the nerves to get up in your goddamn feelings because, what's his name, Will decided not to show up. And then you gonna say I'm your wife. Okay, and what the fuck does that supposed to mean? You lied. You couldn't even keep up your end to the bargain of being clean and all that stuff. And I said, well, at the end of the day, Will, you have every right to be upset, but you also got to be upset with yourself. Okay, because the reality is you know what it's like to be an addict. And maybe you kicked your habit and never relapsed. But like I said, a lot of addicts, they're going to relapse at least a couple of times before they fully just say no. Okay, it's going to happen. And also, you talk about something, I'm not trying to be in no relationship, not do this prison shit. You got with somebody that was in prison already. So why are we acting like this? This is also on you in this sense, okay? Because you decided to look her up. You decided to message her and get into this relationship with her and have feelings. You did all of that. And then she did what she did. Now, Courtney, like he said, you need to take some fucking accountability and trying to say, it's not your fault that you up in this situation. It is your fault. You went out, you ran into some friends, some old friends. You decided to, instead of just saying, hey, how you been? And it was like, I'll see you later and keep on walking. You decided to ask about GHB and they gave it to you and you wound up taking it and you wound up getting in trouble. That ain't had nothing to do with Will. That's all on you. Okay? And when he found out that Mark was there, Bitch, and she asked him, is you gonna help me pay for something or whatever? He said, and now you want me to give you an allowance? Tell Mark to give you a fucking allowance. When he went down to think, he said, well, Mark was the one that gave you the fucking phone? Was Mark the one that gave you $3,000 worth of clothes when you got out? Was Mark the one that did this and Mark the one that did that? I said, well, you better go off. Will said, I'm not doing this shit, bitch. You better get Mark to do it. Mark said, fuck him. I said, this is crazy. I said, Will, let that bitch go. Let her go. You deserve better, okay? She said she gonna do whatever she gotta do by any means necessary to get what she want. I said, I guess. I don't want to have to depend on men, but I gotta do what I gotta do to get what I want. I said, bitch, how about you get a job? She said, I don't want that. I want other people to give me shit. And I said, you know what? Well, you're gonna stay in the situation that you're in. Moving on from that, Joella, Deandre, and Kiana. 3-ring circus. And Joella, when you sitting up in the confessional, I want you to push your glasses up and I want you to straighten them out because them bitches is down low and they crooked, okay? And it's making you look a little off, you know? It's making you look like you're missing a few brain cells. And honestly, I think all 3 of y'all are at this point because ain't no way in hell. Kiana, you don't have to put yourself through this. You don't have to put yourself through this. And then, Joella, you got your little cousin up there agreeing with your bullshit. Like, little cousin, stay in the little cousin place, okay? And now, don't be big cousin. Stay little cousin, okay? Because what your cousin is doing, she's allowing herself to be a fucking side piece. Regardless of the fact that she got that man kids, she's still allowing herself to be a desperate, pathetic-ass side piece. You could call Kiana pathetic and desperate and all that shit. She is. But your cousin is too. Because your cousin know that this man is actively in a relationship, living with somebody else, and you still opening up your legs to this man and allowing yourself to be used as a warm hole. That is just what you're allowing yourself to do. Because at the end of the day, I do not think that he wants Joella in that way. He only wants sex from you, baby. That's why he never tried to get into a real relationship with you. Not really. Not really. Okay? And even if he did, he didn't decide to stay. Because who he come home to? He came home to Kiana. And you're okay with being a side bitch. Just because you got his kids, yeah, they're going to be in your life for at least for 18 years. But at the end of the day, what example are you setting? What example are you setting? You look pathetic as fuck. Okay? You having that conversation with your cousin. You should have been telling her, don't do like me. Don't get yourself in no situation where you having a man's kid that don't even want you like that. They'll keep on going between women and back and forth. No, you up there proud about what you're doing. And so because you up here with this man who cheated on this girl to be with you, to get kids with you, and then he goes back to her and then go to jail, go back to her, have kids with, go over there and play around with you, then go back to her, y'all having back and forth with each other because you taunting her, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was. You taunting her and she going back at you, and because she got back at you, now you want to get back at her while she at work. That's why she had to pull that mic out. I want to know exactly what the fuck you did. I really do. And Joella, I hate to bring this up into it, but it feels that way. It feels that way. It feel like you think that you better than this girl because not only do you have his kids, but the fact that, you probably think you probably got a little bit of a one-up because you a little lighter than her. And he deserves to be with you because, I don't know, it gives that. The way you act like, oh, he always gonna come back to me and all that shit or whatever. It just gives that. And baby girl, before you do that makeup shit, what you should have been doing was trying to come up with a goddamn, you need to go to dermatology. Get that shit fixed before you try to patch up anything on somebody's face. I'm sorry, because it's just, I hate the whole situation. Everybody is stupid as fuck in this situation. You are letting this man who just got out of prison just ping pong between y'all. And when the producers asked, when he came over there that night, because mind you, Kiana didn't even know what time he came home. I said, was you asleep or something? Because, bitch, I would have stayed up. The fuck? And I would have called and said, okay, I'm pretty sure your kids are asleep. Why are you not home yet? Because you went over there to see the kids, right? Oh, okay, cool. I got home after 12-ish or something like that. I'm sitting here like, what? The kids sleep at 9. 9 out of 10, them kids probably go to sleep at 8. What are you talking about? 12-ish. What you was over there doing? And that's when it produced that. So when Deandre was over there, the child had sex. She said, just know that he can get it anytime he wants to. I said, that's all I needed to know. He fucked that girl. Okay, and if you did it, I'd be surprised if you did it. But, baby, the way that she acting, they had sex that night. I wouldn't be surprised if it came out like that. And Kiana, you're about to be looking more of the fool that you already are. Joella, you look like the fool times 1,000, because why are you putting yourself through this on national TV? You're literally showing that you are a fucking bird and you have nothing really going for yourself. You have no self-respect. You don't. Willingly to be a side chick. Bitch, I just could never. But anyway, you guys tell me how y'all feel. And because I was late, I decided to give y'all a long ass video. Now y'all gonna sit y'all asses here and watch it for the next couple of days and enjoy it. No, I'm just so I go like, Ashley, why you always hollering at us? I'm not, baby. It's jokes. Don't take it so serious, okay? I'm just goofing off with y'all. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And if I don't see you until next week, I hope you have a wonderful week. Peace.